let's get to cooking. This is what we're doing today at Memaw's house. Hey y'all, welcome back to Memaw's house. Summer is here and it is time for cool desserts. So I'm going to make 2 easy desserts that you can easily make at home as well. So let me get my apron on and we'll get to mixing. Here are all the ingredients that we'll be using to make our 2 pudding pies. These are easy summer desserts. They're nice and cooling. And you know I'm going to leave the ingredient list down in the description box. I hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you haven't subscribed already, I hope you take the time this video and subscribe. I'm going to make the chocolate pudding pie first, and I'm going to start by cutting my stick of butter that you know is always sitting at room temperature, but it doesn't have to be. I'm going to cut this in half because I'll use 1/2 for the first pudding pie. I'm going to melt it, and then I'll use the second half for the second pudding pie. I'm going to melt it then too, but we need 1/2 stick of melted butter. Now that I have my melted butter all set and ready to go, I'm going to grab my Oreos, my pie plate, and I have an extra bowl here, but I don't think I'm going to have to use it. We're going to use about 20 Oreo cookies. I'm going to throw in a couple of extra ones because if you know me, we're going to need some extra crunchies to put on top of our pie. So let's go ahead and count out our Oreo cookies and get them put into the blender, and we want to blend them up to a nice fine crumb, adding our melted butter. Now that's the consistency you should have. Now we'll go ahead and get our cookie crumbs into the pie plate so that we can make our crust. I'm going to start, after I get all of the crumbs into the pie plate, I'm going to get them all kind of evened out so that when I go to press them, it will press into a nice crust. Now I'm going to press my crust in with a 1/2 cup measuring cup. But you can use whatever you'd like, a spatula, a spoon, your fingers, whatever you like to use to get it pressed in real tight because you don't want it to be loose. Otherwise, it will come out loose when you go to cut your pie. So you want to press it in good so that that butter and those Oreo cookies and that nice cream filling can make a good crust. Okay, now the crust is all ready. Now it's time to get our filling in place and all whipped up. So I'm going to use my whisk on my KitchenAid because this whips it up really easily. You can use a hand mixer and you can actually use a whisk. It will take a little while longer doing it by hand. And if you want it to be easy, go on and put it in one of your mixers, a KitchenAid, whatever kind you got, and get it mixed up in no time. The instructions on the box, and this was a big box of chocolate pudding, the instructions on the box calls for 3 cups of cold milk. I'm actually only going to use 2.5 cups of cold milk because I want my pudding to be a little bit thicker than the regular pudding, like if you were going to eat it in a cup. So I'm going to lessen my milk so that my pudding can be a little bit denser than regular spoon it out of a cup pudding. Now let's go ahead and fill our pie crust and make the second layer of our pie because the crust is the first layer. But let's put the filling in now to our pie. Now we're going to smooth this out and make it even or as level as we can, seeing that this is pudding, but we'll make it as level as we can and get it ready for our topping. Now this is the real from scratch part of this dessert. We're going to make our own whipped topping, but if you'd rather buy Cool Whip or Ready Whip or whatever kind of whip it is you want, if you want to get a box of Dream Whip and pull that together, you do whatever your heart's desire. But I'm going to use a whole half, I think it's a quart of heavy whipping cream and make enough whipped topping for both of the pies. So in my mixing bowl, and you see I have my stainless steel mixing bowl because that can get nice and cold, I'm putting in my cold quart of heavy whipping cream. To that, I'm going to add my powdered sugar. I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of powdered sugar. And you see they're kind of heaping tablespoons because I want a little sweetness to the heavy whipping cream, but I don't want it to be too sweet because the pudding and the cookies are already sweet. So this will kind of even it all out, level it off for us. To this, I will add a teaspoon and a half of vanilla. And we're going to whip this until it is nice and thick and whipped cream-like. So in this mixer, it has taken about 3 minutes for this whipping cream to actually start taking some shape. So it was probably a total of about 4 minutes to get some good stiff whipped topping. Now let's spoon our whipped topping onto our pie. Now the whipped topping is all on, I'm going to take some extra Oreo crumbs that I had already churned up and put them on top for decorations. Now you can decorate this any kind of way you want to. I just choose to use the Oreo crumbs because it's easy, and I'm looking for easy today. But you can put chocolate chips, you can put shaved chocolate on it, you can put anything you like on it to make it beautiful. You can even put Oreo cookie halves on it to do whatever you want to do and to make it look the way you want it to look. So pie number 1 is done. We can now get that into the refrigerator so that it can cool, because if we tried to cut this now, it would be a nice chocolatey mess. So let's go ahead and get this in the refrigerator and let that cool, and we'll start our next pie. Okay, y'all, so the chocolate pie is done. It's in the oven. We're going to let that cool for about 30 minutes, maybe an hour, and we're going to get busy with the butterscotch now. Butterscotch caramel, however you take that, but it is butterscotch pudding and those Sandy's cookies. So let's go ahead and mix that one up. We'll start this pie just like we did the other by making our crust. And I'm using Sandy's, not pecan Sandy's, but it's made by the same company. It just doesn't have the nuts in it. It makes it a little bit easier. Now, if you like the nuts, get the pecan Sandy's. Either one is delicious. So I put about 10 or 15 cookies in just so that I could have enough cookie crumbs to make my little individual pies, because that's what we're going to do with this. Now this is the consistency that you want for your crust. Now we can set that aside, get our Cool Whip out of the way or our whipped topping out of the way, and get our mixer set up for making our filling, our butterscotch filling. Now the instructions on this pudding mix actually called for 2 cups of cold milk for each box of pudding. I didn't want to add 4 whole cups, so I'm only adding 3 cups of cold milk to both packs of pudding. I wanted to have a nice thicker consistency because we're going to make little individual pies in our muffin tin for this particular recipe. Now the filling is all done. Let's go ahead and assemble our pies. This method is the best, I think, for those summer parties that you might have to go to, those family gatherings, so that people can take the individual pies around and they can take them home or they can eat them in their hand. And it's easier than having it put it on a paper plate and all of that stuff and eating one slice of pie. So I'm going to put cookie crumbs, which will make the crust, into the bottom of each of the muffin tins. And you see I'm using about a tablespoon, just a regular tablespoon of cookie crumbs for each. Now that I have all of the cups filled, I'm going to go ahead and press it in to make a nice little crust down in the bottom. Okay, let us get our filling spooned in. It will be about 2 tablespoons for each cup. You just want it nice and full. Now I'm going to fill a piping bag with a star tip with my whipped topping so that I can make these decorative. I'm going to tap it down a little bit, see if that pudding will move. It didn't. So let's go ahead and get our whipped topping piped on. And like with the other full-size pie, I'm going to use some leftover cookie crumbs to put on top of these for decoration. Okay, they're all done. Let's take it to the refrigerator. I'm kind of anxious to see how the chocolate pie is going to turn out, so let's go ahead and cut this. It didn't cut very well, but I think that the pudding is not set all the way, so let it sit in your refrigerator for a good 40 minutes, an hour, to make sure that pudding is set. Y'all, so I have my pie, and I'm going to give it a taste. I got my taste tester. She's coming at some point in time, but I'm gonna go ahead and taste mine. That's pretty good. It's not too sweet, chocolatey. The whipped topping is not too sweet. If you want to add more sugar to yours, feel free to do that, but it adds something to it. So come on in, Peyton, and let's try it. Speak to the people. Say hey.
Hey. I'm gonna try it now. That's delicious.
It's delicious.
It's
You got
good.
something on your mouth? We can't hear you.
Retry it. Say, I'm gonna try it now.
I'm gonna try it now.
School is over.
It's so flavorful.
Okay, y'all, so both of our pies are done. I'm going to actually take the small pies to Aunt Maxine because she likes butterscotch, and I just want to bless her today. So I hope this video blesses you and that you have a great day. And you try these recipes. They're super simple. They're not complicated at all. So y'all be blessed. Bye. Thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you give these super simple pies a try. Enjoy your summer, and know that I'll always post a video here for you to see. Y'all be blessed. Bye.